Hey everybody, this is Mike from EdgeNote 50 TV and welcome to my preview show. And yes, we've started on time, 9 o'clock. It's amazing and I am happy. Everything is running as smoothly as it can be. So let's get cracking. Today is a big weekend. This weekend is going to be a big weekend of boxing. We've got Whyte versus Chisora. We've got Warrington versus Frampton. You know, both on at the same time. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about Battle of the UK pay-per-views, which pay-per-view is going to be better, which one do I think we should watch, and more. And plus, we're going to be talking about, the news of the week. We're going to be talking about, what's been going on in the headlines. You can probably guess, Deontay Wilder has spoken, Eddie Hearn has spoken. Will they, won't they? The merry dance is still carrying on as normal. So we're going to get to it. So let's go and start previewing the weekend's fights. The weekend's fights, we've got Whyte versus Chisora. Now that's going to be, it's an interesting fight. No belts are on the line. It is on pay-per-view, so people are skeptical, saying, why should this fight be on pay-per-view? However, the first fight was very good. And, and the second one, they're hoping it's going to be the same. The question is, will it be the same? Both fighters has been through a lot since that last fight. I mean, Chisora has gone on to bigger and better things. Chisora has struggled. He's lost when he shouldn't have lost, and he's come back. So both of them have had different trajectories, along the way. But they've got this rematch happening. Chisora seems to be rejuvenated. He's got a new management, which is David Hay, which when we first announced it, I was quite shocked. I was thinking, how is this happening? Them two being together. But, Chisora says he's a new man now. So, we have to believe what he says. I mean, look, he ain't throwing any chairs. So, it is different. So, that's the main thing. And let's have a look at, what's going on with the card at the moment. Let's have a look. Let's see who's chatting online. Hey, man. How's it going, man? Yeah, so welcome, Ramel, Lewis, on the chat. Yeah, so I'm going to go in and start talking about, where you can start watching the fight. So first up, let's have a look, shall we? Now, Whyte and Chisora, if you're in the US, you're going to be watching it on Showtime. If you're in the UK, it's going to be on Sky Sports. Now, people are going to think, wait a minute, Eddie Hearn's on DAZN. Why is it on Showtime? Well, based on the interview that they had recently, Eddie Hearn actually said that all the fights that happens in the UK on pay-per-view, DAZN gets first pick, and if they decide to decline the option, then it's free to go on other networks, and Showtime happened to be the one that bidded, and that's why it's on Showtime. So that's why, if you're in the States wondering why, that's why. But anyways, does it really matter? You get to see it in the US, and it's going to be a fun fight for you guys. So that's the main thing. In the UK, it's going to be a Sky Sports box office, where you'll be able to watch that fight too. It's going to be in the O2. I think there's still a few tickets left, so you can go and still get some tickets if you want to go to the O2 and see it. But yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. So let's look at the card. What's going on right now? So you've got now the undercard. It's not great. Let's keep it real. There's no main attractions on there. I would see there's lots of domestic talent on there. There's I mean, out of all these fighters, I'll probably say I'm most excited to see Joshua Buatsi because he's got the most upside. I've seen him. I've been very impressed. I mean, he has the potential to go on and do great things. People want him to be fighting people like, Anthony Yard straight off the bat. I think, no, hold off on that. So let's not talk about Anthony Yard, yet. He's still in his, still young. Still, got a long way to go on his development. You got Reece Bellotti, Ryan Walsh. You got David Price versus Tom Little. David Price, I mean, he's a trier. What can I say? I mean, Tom Little, normally I'll say David Price, he should win, but you just never know. I mean, he hasn't won in a while. I mean, last fight he had an injury, and you know he hasn't really impressed in any of his recent fights. So I don't know about that. You know, you've got Charlie Edwards versus Christopher Rosales for the WBC Flyweight Championship. That should be a good fight. Most of the flyweight, the good thing about flyweight fights is that it's always action. There's always the action fight with flyweights. So I think that's going to be a good appetizer before the main course. So, but overall, I mean, the undercard is not too great. It's not anything exciting. I think it's more about just looking at, you know, the Joshua Buatsi, just looking at potential talent that could go far in the future. That's more what I think this undercard is all about. So let's start looking at the main event. Now let's go to Whyte versus Chisora prediction time. Now, the first fight was very entertaining. It was a slugfest. Now, people say that Whyte won. People thought that Chisora won. Me personally, I thought that Whyte won personally. Now, this fight, people are saying it's going to be a lot closer. And Whyte has a chance because he looks different. He's training under David Haye, which David Haye's bringing in his training regimen, his dieting. You know, the atmosphere, the environment is changed. And I think that David Chisora has never taken a fight as seriously as he is now. Even with the first Dillian Whyte fight, I think he's taking it even more seriously now than it has before. So with that being said, this could be the best Derek Chisora since the Klitschko fight. So, you know, and if that's the case, then Dillian Whyte is going to be having some problems. But saying that, I think that I still believe my prediction is that Dillian Whyte is going to win this fight. And I believe that Dillian Whyte is going to win by knockout. I think he's going to knock him out in the later rounds. I'm thinking between 8 and 9, he's going to knock him out. That's my prediction. I just think that Dillian Whyte, people think that it's going to be a slugfest. Now, I think that Dillian Whyte has learned a lot from the first fight. And what he's learned is that you cannot, you know, you are on a different level now, you know, and you have to prove that you are on a different level to Derek Chisora. You have to show the world, not just the UK, the world, that you deserve a Joshua rematch. Now, if you struggle against Derek Chisora, then people are going to not believe that you can beat Joshua. It's not going to be believable. People are going to think, no, he's not, you know, he's struggled against Chisora. I mean, are we really going to buy into Dillian Whyte and Joshua? So he really has to do a job on Chisora. He has to show that he's levels above Chisora, and I think he will do that. He looks focused. I saw him in a press conference. He looks focused. You know, he's still doing a little bit of digs here and there, but he looks like he's a man ready to show that, hey, I'm ready for the big stage. I'm ready for Wembley, and I'm ready to do the business. So that's what I predict is going to happen. I hope that Dillian Whyte wins, because I want to see him progressing to bigger and better things. I like what he's doing. I like, since the first Joshua fight, he's improved all the time. He changed his trainer, he changed his attitude, his lifestyle, and I think he deserves a title shot down the line, and I want to see him win to see his progress. With Chisora, obviously, if he wins, it's going to be difficult because this is his last stand. I don't think he has got anything more left to give, and I think that after this fight, if he gets knocked out badly by Dillian Whyte, I think he's going to retire. Me personally, don't be surprised if he retires after this fight. But that's my opinion on it. So let's go, and that's all I've got to say about that. Let's have a look at the chat. Yeah, hey to Harry Davis, let's talk about it. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be talking about it. So, yeah, so that's my prediction on the fight. I'm hoping it's going to be very entertaining. But, you know, there's another, because if it's not very entertaining, there's another fight happening at the same time in the UK, which might grab some of the audience. So let's have a look at that, shall we? All right, you got Josh Warrington versus Frampton on at the same time. But this time it's going to be on the UK, BT Sport, and on the US it's going to be on ESPN+. It's going to be in the Manchester Arena in Manchester. So this is going to be interesting because you got Josh Warrington versus Frampton. Josh Warrington, you know, he needs to beat Frampton so he can be considered one of the top fighters. You know, he beat Selby, but people are still are not considering him one of the top fighters, and this is the chance for him to show, hey, I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and by doing that is to beat Frampton. Frampton is the one who has got most to lose. He's a two-weight world champion. He's fought some of the best fighters in the world, and everyone is expecting Frampton to beat Josh Warrington. So all the pressure is on Frampton, really, and Warrington is no pressure on him, really, for him to win, but it's more all on Frampton. So this is where it's going to be an interesting fight in regards to that aspect of it. Now, let's have a look at the undercard. Now, this is the undercard on here. There's some decent fights. Martin Murray, Hassan Ndam, you know, Nathan Gorman, Kojanu. Kojanu was actually supposed to fight Daniel Dubois, but Daniel Dubois pulled out. I think he's got flu or something like that. So obviously he's come in to this fight instead of Nathan Gorman. Now, the person I'm probably most excited about is also, just to let you know, that there is Billy Joe Saunders is on this card as well. He's not on this list, but he's way down on the card. He's facing some guy that I ain't heard of, so I didn't put him down there. But this is just like a comeback fight for him. He's probably going to beat him in 2 rounds or something like that, so it's not really worth me mentioning it so much. But you know, after the in the review show, I'm going to just talk about it, and he should be in the middle weight mix unless the top fighters will try and freeze him out. But I think that Eddie Hearn said that if he comes back into the rankings with the WBO, then I think Billy, that's DeAndre's belt. Then I think that he'll give him that fight that they should have had the first time. But anyways, getting back to the card. Now, the fight I'm most looking forward to is Tommy Fury. Yeah. If people don't know, just in case, Tommy Fury is the younger brother of Tyson Fury. This is his debut. He's making his debut at light heavy. So this is very interesting to me to see how he is as a fighter. Does he resemble some of the Tyson Fury flair? You know, how he is as an individual. If he's any good, you know, I mean, you know, he looks good. He looks like he knows what he's doing, but is he actually good when it comes to the fighting? You know, this is very interesting for me to see how he is. There's Nathan Gorman, who's a very good heavyweight talent as well. It's good to see how he progresses. I mean, people are talking about Nathan Gorman and Dubois as a potential fight down the line. I think they should stay away from each other, personally, and wait until they get more established before they fight. But that's just my opinion. You got Mick Conlan, Irishman featherweight contest. I think he's looking to fight, you know, Frampton or Warrington as well. He says he's ready to step into the mix. You got Martin Murray is now in middleweight. You know, obviously he's looking to fight some of the middleweights. I mean, he'll be a good fight person as a gauge to fight someone like Demetrius Andrade. I don't know about Daniel Jacobs. I think Daniel Jacobs, I'm looking for that kind of opponent. But instead of the fight that Andrade is fighting now, I would have liked to see him fighting someone like a Martin Murray. I think that would be a good fight for Andrade, personally. But yeah, I mean, so in regards to the fight card, the undercard has got more interesting names on the undercard than the Dillian Whyte fight. I mean, there's more fighters I want to see on this card than there is on the Dillian Whyte card. So this undercard will be slightly better, I would say, than the Dillian Whyte undercard. So, anyways, that's enough on the card. Let's go to the prediction time. Now, it comes down to this. How much does Frampton has left in the tank? He says he hasn't got long left in the sport. So, you know, I'm thinking him fighting for a title should be enough motivation, because if he wins, that could lead him to maybe a Santa Cruz rematch and lots of other options out there for him when he has a belt than if he doesn't have a belt. But at the same time, Warrington is very hungry. He looks like he's very hungry, very focused, as a man on the mission, and he could cause some real problems. So it comes down to who wants it more, and also it comes down to ability. If I was to pick one, I would say Frampton will win on points. I would say Frampton will win on points because I think that overall Frampton is a better boxer, more skillful, and I think that he will keep Josh Warrington at bay, and I think that he will win on points, but I think it'll be a very tough fight. I don't think it'll be as easy as what Frampton will say, and I think it'll be a points decision, and I think he'll get the respect of Warrington off that fight. So my prediction would be that Warrington will win by points decision, and yeah, that's my opinion on it. So yeah, I mean, I hope. Look, I mean, Warrington. It'll be a fantastic win if Warrington does win. You know, because it will be a great fight in that aspect of it. But whether he does, you know, that's another question. You know, it just depends on. I mean, at the end of the day, it just comes down to ability. And like I always say, it's the skills that pays the bills, baby. It's the skills that pays the bills. So, yeah, so that's my prediction on that. So, you know, now both of these pay-per-views are at the same time. Now the question is, why do we have both pay-per-views at the same time? There's been a lot of pay-per-views this month. We've had Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. We've got the Dillian Whyte fight, and we've got the Frampton fight. There's lots of pay-per-views, and now we've got two pay-per-views at the same time. You know, how are we going to decide what we're going to put our money on? Because not many people can afford to pay £40 upwards to watch two pay-per-views, and they're on at the same time. So how are you going to watch one after the other? So how are you going to make the decision on what pay-per-view you want to watch? So battles off the pay-per-views. Now, me personally, what would I watch out of the two? It's very difficult because number one, you've got Frampton versus Warrington. Now, there's actually a world championship belt on the line. So they're fighting for something. Whereas Dillian Whyte and Chisora, what are they fighting for? You know, they're not fighting for anything. So really, it's not really anything fight. And people say it's the fight. It's just the fight. Whoever wins will fight AJ. But is that even a guarantee? It's not really a guarantee, because if Deontay Wilder stops ducking and starts and says, "Oh, I want to fight Joshua now," then none of these guys get to fight AJ next. So, you know, so if it comes down to what's at stake, then the Frampton and Warrington fight has more at stake. Now, if you're talking about who has the best overall show, it comes down to, you know, who on the undercard I would like to see the most. Now, out of both of them, I'll say that I would like to see the Warrington-Frampton undercard the most. So I'll probably say I like to see that, you know, because you've got Tommy Fury, you've got Billy Joe Saunders, you know, so you've got names on there that I would like to see again. So that's probably what I would say out of the two that, you know, that I would like to see more. Whereas Dillian Whyte, it's got Joshua Buatsi, and that is probably, you know, is a good talent, but there's just more talented names on the other side. So out of the two, that's probably what I want to watch the most. And now looking at, but saying all that, you know, the issue there, the challenge is that, yes, Warrington Frampton is for a belt, but the division is not great. you know, if Warrington and Frampton wins, and if Frampton wins or Warrington wins, yeah, they are one of the best in the division, and they can fight names in that division. But the division hasn't got the name appeal as the heavyweight division. Even though Dillian Whyte and Chisora, they're not fighting for a belt. They may not fight AJ or Wilder or whoever down the line, but the division is more exciting. You have, because of those names, you've got Wilder and Fury who just fought. You've got AJ in the mix. You've got Big Baby Miller. You've got, you know, Ortiz. You've got all these heavyweight champions. You've got Usyk that's looking to move up. The heavyweight division is hot right now. It is popping, and these guys are looking to fight to get into the mix. So it's more the storyline of who is going to win, who is going to get to fight the big heavyweights is going to make it more exciting overall. So if I had the choice between one or two, I'm going to pay money on it. I'll buy Chisora versus Dillian Whyte because the heavyweight division is popping, and I'm just more engrossed in the whole story of the heavyweight division, and I want to see whoever wins to go from there. And plus, the first fight was very entertaining, and I know what I'm going to get with this pay-per-view, whereas in Frampton and Warrington, I don't know what I'm going to get. So I'd rather stick with what I know, a potential fight that's going to be entertaining than a fight that I'm not really sure is going to be entertaining. And to be fair, the Frank Warren cards has not been great, whereas the Eddie Hearn cards, the fights has been much more entertaining. Kell Brook aside, yeah, Kell Brook aside, the other ones has been more entertaining, yeah. So out of the choice of the battles of the pay-per-view, I would say Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora, I would pick for the battles of the pay-per-views this weekend. But if you watch the Frampton and Warrington, I'm assuming that could be a good fight as well. So that's my previews of the fights happening this weekend. Also, not to forget, you got the Charlo brothers fighting against Harrison and against Kubarev. Because Charlo was supposed to fight Willie Monroe, but he failed a drugs test, so he's fighting Kubarev instead. So I haven't forgotten that, but I'm not doing a preview on that because I don't think it's on UK television, so I can't see any of the fights. And by the time I do this show, it will be too late. So I'm gonna, but the Charlos, it's not gonna be a hard prediction that both Charlos will win. They should win. So that should be no surprise there. So yeah, so that's my previews of the fights all over the weekend. So let's talk about what's going on in the news today. Shall we talk about it? Huh? Shall we talk about it? Let's talk what? Let's talk about Wilder and AJ, the saga that always keeps on giving. Always keeps on giving. All right. I'm not going to go too deep into this because people know my views on this already. Yeah. Like, I'll give you a quick story. AJ's come out in the media last week and he says he wants to fight. AJ is willing to give him double what he got against Tyson Fury to fight. Now Deontay Wilder has come out, and Shelly Finkel, his manager, has come out in the media and gave their answers to them. Yeah. Now I want to play a few video clips. I want to play a few clips, audio clips of what Shelly Finkel said. So let's have a look, and you can have a look and see. Let's have a look and see now. All right. So this is what he said. This is what Shelly Finkel said about Now, this is what he said. Now, first clip let's show you is Shelly Finkel, and he talked about the allegedly £28 million offer. Now, it's not £28 million offer because what's happened is that he done an interview on a podcast show called The Boxing Voice, where he discussed a potential offer of 28 million. Now, let me just be clear on this. Anthony Joshua has not made an offer of 28 million to Deontay Wilder or Shelly Finkel. However, AJ did say that whatever they made for Tyson Fury, they will double it. So based on speculation in which Wilder allegedly made $14 million, then, you know, you do the math, you times that by 2, it's 28. So they're just using a rough figure of 28 based on estimated figures that Wilder allegedly have got for the Tyson Fury fight. So, with that being said, let's have a look, shall we? Let's see if this works. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, let's have a look and see if it works, guys.
That AJ is willing to give up 28 million, which is alleged to double what Deontay made for Fury.
Nope. Nope.
It doesn't matter. 28 million.
Nope, I can't play the footage. It's not working. I should have tested this out when I first started it. But let me I'm just gonna run it through quickly and let you know what happened. Basically, they said they don't want to be the boss. You know, they're not employees of Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua. And that they're not gonna, you know, and they have to come to the table evenly if they want this deal to happen. Now, Deontay Wilder was on the Boxing Voice afterwards, and he confirmed that he's not interested in fighting Anthony Joshua next, and that he wants to fight Tyson Fury. That's his first option, is the rematch for Tyson Fury next, which is not surprise. You know, my reaction to what he said was disappointing, because I did want him to say that he's interested in unifying the belts. You know, he's always said one face, one name, and you know, he's always said he's interested in fighting the belts. So I think that if you are interested in fighting for the belts, then you should at least say, you know, look, I want to unify. I want to be the champion, and act like you want to unify. But at the moment, he's acting like he doesn't want to unify. He's acting like he doesn't want to be a champion, like a unified champion. And he's happy to say, oh, I'll make them wait. And, you know, that AJ is not a star anymore, blah, blah, blah. You know, on the third, you know, it's just Wilder, sometimes he just yappers on and on and on and on and on. They're at the point, I'm sick and tired of talking about it, really. It's just a case of, let's get this fight to happen. You know, I think that the problem is that there's too much egos between the two. I think that both of them should just put their egos aside. Both come to the table. Shelly Finkel, pick up your phone. Shelly Finkel, arrange a meeting, yeah, and make it happen. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Stop sulking. Eddie Hearn did call you names, and yes, it was wrong of him, but I think he's apologized now. So I think you guys should stop the sulking, arrange a meeting, and make it happen. Because we, the public, are getting sick and tired of it. We want this fight to happen. So, yeah, but at the same time, if Wilder don't want it, he don't want it. We can't force Deontay Wilder to take the fight. We can't force him. You know, what can we do? The only route that they can do is get Dillian Whyte to make sure he gets the #1 mandatory for the WBC, and then try and hope that Whyte can fight Wilder and get the belt off him, because Wilder's holding that belt hostage. He don't want to let it go, and he don't want to fight nobody that will give him the chance to let it go. And we all know that he only fought Tyson Fury because he thought he was done. And when he weren't done, I don't know if he wants to go and fight that again. I'm going to call it here first. This is going to be a first, guys. Look, I don't know any inside information about this, but don't be surprised if he fights Dominic Brazil next. Don't be surprised. I'm just throwing it out there. Because the way he's talking, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he fights Dominic Brazil next. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, guys. So, also in the news, yeah, we're not gonna go too much into that, but in the news, we've also got Canelo versus Canelo's next opponent. Now, the president of Golden Boy, Eric Gomez, said that they're interested in fighting Callum Smith in England, next. Now, I don't believe that for a second. No way that Canelo is going to leave America. It's just not going to happen. The Mexico rumor is more likely because he is Mexican. And with that DAZN deal, it would make sense to go home to Mexico for a homecoming fight. That makes more sense. But him coming to England and him having the leverage to fight, losing all his leverage to fight a Callum Smith, that's not going to happen. It's very unlikely. And I just think he's just saying that just to throw some extra names into the hat. I'll be very surprised if Canelo fights someone like a Callum Smith. A Callum Smith is not a Rocky Fielding. Don't get excited that because you fought a Callum Smith, Rocky Fielding, that will be like every other, 168 fighter. It's not going to be like that. So I think he'll be dropping down. The smart move is to drop down to 160 and to fight someone like a Daniel Jacobs or a Triple G. I'd rather see him fight a Jacobs because he's fought Triple G twice already, and we're not going to see anything new. Just a quick judge's decision on Canelo part again. So I'd rather see him fight someone different. So that rumor, I think I'll dismiss that. I wouldn't take any seriousness to that rumor. But it'll be good. But it was out there. People were interested in it, so I thought I'll talk about it. So, so that's pretty much all I'm gonna say of the news on the week, and that's pretty much it for my preview show. I hope you found this entertaining. If you're new to the show, hit that like button. If you want, and also hit that subscribe button as well, because I do the preview shows every week. The preview shows are every Thursdays, 9 p.m. Also, I do my review shows every Mondays, 9 p.m. as well. So subscribe and hit that notification button to watch both my shows. Thank you for everybody who's watching. And anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. And I'm going to talk about it.